Oh, right. And we're live. I think. We're live. I'm never quite sure. Yes. Hello. It is... I don't know the days of the week. It's Sunday. It's June 2nd. It is almost 9 p.m. I was streaming a little late today for... Well, I couldn't stream today because what I was working on today was actually the end cutscene and the credits, which are now first pass complete, and so those are in. What else? This was an insanely productive week. I think I've got... So what was left to do for the game was there's 15 levels that play out on the scroll. And before they didn't have any writing or any art, and now I've got first pass art and complete writing for that. And there's 9 levels on the main stage, and I've got some kind of stubbed art stuff for the artist to play with, which I'll show you in a minute, and I've got writing there. What is interesting, though, is I just got back from a very late dinner, and when I went to play, it said I had a compile error. So instead of showing you that, I'm going to fix that error, and then I'm going to show you that. Yes, 1 second. Part of fixing the end of the game was the I had to add a variable to a function, and sometimes things just don't propagate. Yeah. And boom shakalaka. Yeah, that variable just didn't get renamed for some reason. And now it did. Okay, so yeah, let me show you what I did this week. Assuming everything compiles. And we're good. Alright. There's a lot of little tasks, there was a lot of bug fixing. This week was insanely productive. I'm actually proud. If every week was like this, the game would have been done a week ago. So, right. So there was some writing that went in here, and you won't care about that. But there was first pass. Wow, that's loud. Let me mix that down a bit. Oh, you can't hear it. There, no you can. So yeah, I came up with some, I did some animation work for the scroll. There's actually a couple things I forgot about. I got in a first pass of the wind condition. There's some tasks here. For one thing, I need to come up with this kind of shiny shader. It's something I'm playing with. It's a riff on something I did for the characters. I need a shader for interactive objects, and so I'm kind of toying with that. I came up with a whole system for objects that fall from the sky with things that are attached to them, and that's what you're seeing on display here. So like there's a level, some of these levels, I basically had to take these levels and break them up into chunks that look good so that things can fall from the sky, right? And each one of these is just like, before they were just cubes, now obviously I made them, most levels are made up of these 2x1 cubes and various things that are just jammed on them. And so yeah, just redoing all the levels and figuring out how to make that look good. And there's actually some kind of artistry to this in making sure that the levels are still readable, making it so that the player feels the grid in the right ways and feels the height in the right ways. This is kind of difficult to articulate, and I think it's easier to show you on the main stage. But this was the beginning of the week. I was working on something I can't talk about in the middle of the week. Yesterday I started working on... Day before yesterday, I started working on the main stage stuff. And I've been working with the artist trying to figure out what this is going to look like at all. And let me see what I can show you. They drew some stuff. Yeah. So I don't know when they sent me this. This looks like it was Wednesday they sent me this. So we had this idea that like the papers would fly up. Well, this is my idea initially. It's what I told them to do. The papers are going to fly up and fold, and they were initially going to be origami, and then they riffed on it. And we couldn't get origami to look good, and so they're like, what if it's parcels? And this is them prototyping it as parcels. But the other thing is there's 3 different sections, and what I do like about what they did was the idea that there's 3 sections. One's a jazz club. Like I've kind of named them. Like this one's a jazz club. This one's like an outdoor area. And this one's like a theater. And so I took this. Keep in mind, my artists are gone this week because there was like a bank holiday and then to them on a holiday. I think the reason I was so productive is because it was just me alone, which is great. Because I managed to get out ahead of them. But yeah, I stubbed in what these will look like. I started figuring out what it would kind of, how I'm going to connect it in game. This will be like the theater, right? This is their little sound boxes. They have an FBX to work off of now. These will be curtains. And I thought, what if I take the models that they did for the final level down here, because I kind of like that, and break them up and kit bash them and try to come up with a system that we can use to build all the levels that uses the same kind of like falling tech I wrote for the other stuff. And so that's what I did last night and this morning? Yeah, early this morning. Was just make all these levels. Let me see. I showed you one of the... Here's their jazz club. I don't know what these look like. Yeah, there you go. This is I'm not happy with how this kit bashed together. I couldn't come up with something here. And yeah, defining, we'll see if they like it. They may get mad. They worked pretty hard on the paper stuff, but I just feel like it's not coming together. And we just need to push in a different direction. And I think this will work. I turned everything on the music stand around too. That was a huge pain in the ass. There's just a lot of under the hood stuff. If you can get everything to a place where it works in game and you've stubbed it in with FBXs, like these kit bash models, I know like they look like ass, but at least they exist. And now they can just take the FBX and fix it and it will just be better. And that's such an easy thing to do. I don't need them to go into the editor and figure things out. I can hand it all off. And like these set pieces, like this jazz club that I just stubbed in here, they can take this and they can upres this. They know where to put things. It helps them out. This is the easiest way to work with an external team, I find. So yeah, that was a lot of thinking in general on that stuff. What's the last one? And the music festival, I actually got like a model from them. This didn't fit. They gave me this model and I tried to like scale it to work. And I scaled this thing. You can see like where I've been messing with this. Trying to come up with what the outdoor area might look like. But again, this is an FBX that they can just mess with now. And these little, what I kit bash this together with, you can see like there's holes. I threw this together pretty quickly. But if it already looks this good, when the artists actually dig in, it'll look much better. So that's what I did this week. It was a really good week. Hey, Abandoned Sheep, what's up? And yes, I streamed so that I wouldn't be on Twitter. You got me. Yeah, I gotta stop. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. Guys, we have options. We have options for what to work on. We have so many things to do. What should I do first? I mean, because I did the end scene, I've officially got everything first pass complete. I know I've said that before, but I mean, well, not... Okay. I am still in the process of writing the dialogue for the main stage, and there is a thing on the main stage where... I don't know if you guys have seen the counters yet. Oh, I wanted... So I'm of two minds. For one thing, in order to make a game with, like... The narrative doesn't matter, but, like, there's narrative, right? In order for it to make any sense at all, there has to be some kind of progression. But in order for the puzzle game to be good, you can't necessarily make it linear. And I needed some sort of... I always wanted there to be like a sequence of puzzles, so you had to prove that you knew a concept before moving into a harder version, So I always had this idea of sequences. And I mean, if you've been following it for a long time, I played around with a lot of different ideas for how they'd unlock and when you'd encounter them and stuff like that, but none of it ever made narrative sense. And one of the things is like, the big break is a turning point that happens 2/3 of the way through the game, really. And I wasn't sure how to gate it, but I know I have these 3 sections that happen on the main stage. So what I did was I slapped in the idea of a counter, and no one's played far enough really to get to this, so I don't know if it's a good idea or not. But where the fuck is the counter? I might need to, oh, it's because I completed the game. Hold on a second. I did this, I think, a week or 2 ago. I added the idea of like a counter. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. So you have to, there are 9 total levels for the main stage, right? Broken into 3 sections, 3 levels each, where they get progressively harder and kind of push on a concept. You have to beat 5 of the 9 in order to go on. I have no idea if this signals that to the player. I hope so. I don't even really... Usually every time I've had somebody test the game, like... I guess I could give it out to like a proper tester. When you show a game at a show, they don't play for more than like half an hour. You don't want them to. You want them to move on. So nobody gets far enough. Like, you'd have to play for a few hours to get to this point. So I have no way of like testing if this is a good idea. This is gonna be one of those things where we launch and we find out if I'm an idiot. I think. Anyway, so yeah, there's the idea of a counter. What I wanted to do, I'm working with a writer. I gave my second pass, like we've already done one revision back and forth, of the dialogue I want for the main stage in the 3 sections. We're fighting over that now. But a thing we did agree on is at the end of each one of these levels, see if I can beat this one, I want to have a scene that is based on how far you are through the counter, where the pen talks. The idea is once you get far enough along, you can sign with a record label. So I want a scene where the record label talks to you, and that scene can happen regardless of which level you've completed. That might be something we tackled. That's the last, like, thing to tackle. Oh, have you seen any of this iceberg? Hey, Peppo. Yeah, it fills up by a chunk each time. Hi, Bowler. I've just been talking to myself. Sorry about this, guys. I could have done 5 lines on a stave. Abandoned sheep. I wanted to keep it consistent because I'm actually... As soon as I knew I had to do that, I did it again in another way. In the Euler and Roux have to complete a certain number of levels together. These icons are super temp. It's something I slapped together to show the artist what I wanted. But like when you're on the Tunnel of Love, for instance, similar idea. You have to complete 12 of like 20 levels before they fall in love. I don't know what the narrative is. Before they're officially in a relationship. Before they're steady. Until then, they're just dating. It's complicated. When do you call someone your boyfriend? You know, like, who knows? What's in a word? It's all very awkward. Anyway, I'm showing Iceberg some of the gameplay. So this is, these are the combo levels. This is the Tunnel of Love. So this is Euler, and this is an area where Euler and Roux are kind of on a romantic boat ride, right? They're trying to figure out how to get through this area. That's one kind of gameplay. Another kind of gameplay is... Sometimes Euler's just like jamming. Like here he's just dancing by himself on this soundboard, just real jazzed about shit. I see. I mean, I know how to win. Anyway, that's one kind of level. There's obviously the very basic levels where they're like very basic. People have problems with these, so I should shut up. But like, there's I might want to work on that. This Squat, he's just like trying to get around here. I don't know if you're gone. I might just be showing this to nobody. But yeah, that's some of the gameplay. There's different mechanics for the different areas. Hey Twerps, what's up, man? I'm glad you like it, Pepple. It's when you held hands for the first time. Yeah. Is that what love is for you? You know what, man? Your life experience is yours. You do you. Basically, you try to get, yes, you're usually trying to get to a place. That's accurate. Thank you, people. Thanks, Abandoned Sheep. So what should we do today? Should we do that hard thing I just described? Should we? Yes. Will we? Probably not. It is 9 p.m. on Sunday. I did get a pack of art. Like, so the way these levels, oh, that's good. The way that I constructed these levels this week. It's a couple of days ago, and my mind has made of whatever is inside of an Etch-a-Sketch. So, obviously I don't remember anything. This is DA. Yeah, okay. So these are the combo levels. Yeah. Alright, so for these levels, there's the one, before all we had were the gross boxes. Like, my designer art while I designed the game was just cubes, right? I got a bunch of little knickknacks and a cube, like a nicer cube, from the art team. They banged this out in like half a day. 2 people did. First they gave me a nice green cube that was like a 2x1 cube, and then I took all the levels, hid my gross boxes, and slapped in the 2x2 cubes, and then they gave me like these little knickknacks to stamp onto them. And so these are made of cubes plus little knickknacks. Like here's a knickknack. See? In reality, it's just cubes with shit stuck on them. All this stuff is that's just a plane. That's it. Nothing fancy here. Anyway, I got more knickknacks. We can bring in some knickknacks. That might be what we should do today. Oh my god, there's so much to do. There's more important things to do, obviously. But they gave me the knickknacks several days ago, and this will never be the most important thing. So if I don't do it, it will never get done. So yeah, let's just do that. Let me pull it up. I started out making this by myself, Baz. I can show you footage of what the game looked like back then. About all of the environments have been redone. That's the big change. I got funding from Epic Games. How do I put it? I don't have the right word for this. Epic. Kind is going to be exclusive in the Epic Games Store on PC, and in return for that, I got money, and I used that money to upres all the art. which is an ongoing process. In fact, it's a process I'm probably too involved in. I should really focus more on not the art and fix some bugs, because there's a couple of really scary ones. But I have an art background and this is my joy, so I find that very difficult. Also, it's just not time yet. Sand brain. I'm glad you like it, Iceberg. Hey, Jester. The epic deal is huge. It's a... What am I legally allowed to say? It's awesome. It was a very nice exclusivity deal. So where are we here? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Bass. So, I just got a bunch of messages I didn't read earlier. I'm sorry about this. Apparently Google Drive was down, and that's fucking with my podcast getting done. Yeah, I was really lucky to be a part of that, Iceberg. I mean, it was a combination of happy coincidences that kind of got to jump the list. It's mostly because, like, I was in recent contact with them for several reasons. And it had I won an Unreal Dev grant, so I was already, like, on a short list for them to talk to. They've been incredible. Bowler Captain, what puzzle Discord are you in? Are you in Alan Hazelden's? Oh, you want to see a video of what it looked like before? Okay. I can show you a couple different things. I can show you the trailer, the old trailer. This is long before I got funded, but it is the coolest and easiest way to show you. This is what got me funded. So before, when I was a solo dev, I kind of came up with an art style that I knew I could do myself, which was entirely procedural. It was mostly using the same boxes I had before, and I had plans for how I would up-res this and how I would make it look better. And I had started working on that, right? That's not true. I think shortly after this trailer, to me, the most important thing was getting the characters to kind of feel more relatable. And so I spent a bit of time working on the character art. And I actually, like, the character art you see in game is just my work still, for better or worse. The environments, like, I hired some friends that I know that work in environments, because it's a giant blind spot I have. And initially we were going to, I'd have to hunt it down, but, like, initially they were going to riff on kind of the art style I had, and I wanted them to do that, and we were going to wrap it up quickly, and we were going to definitely not do exactly what we did, but, you know, Rick is, I wouldn't say he's persuasive, but he's kind of like, hey, yeah, we could totally do that, but by the way, modeled this, I don't know, I just want to show it to you, and he knows, like, he knows how to work me. I fucking love Rick. I love working with these guys. They're great. They definitely convinced me to go way harder on the environments than I had planned. I was going to keep it very abstract. But I mean, it was like kind of like, once we started doing this, they were like, what if we make boxes? And I was like, well, if we're not going to do that, but if we did do that, and then I started skewing the boxes. I'm like, it would have to look more like this. There was different reasons why I wanted, it's important to me. We actually lost some things that I think are kind of important. Like, it was important to me that we have lines that overhang the levels, that I can kind of show the grid in certain places. Like, the beauty of the old art style, mind you, this is much better, but is that the lines overhang the world a lot. So you can easily kind of see the grid even in the negative space, but it's hard for people to judge that distance. And no matter what, like, the one thing I give them a lot of freedom and I love working with artists, but the one thing they cannot do is anything that'll confuse the player with respect to where the grid is, right? That's just like important. I don't know how else to put it. And there's certain things, like I will destroy their levels in gross ways. If they take a box, like for instance, there was a couple places where they'd take a box like this and scale it down, and then there'd be lines, but those lines wouldn't be on the grid. And then I would go in and I would just delete everything off of the box and replace it with a cube until the learning happened. Because it's just, that's the game. Do you understand? Like every line, every detail has to be either in a section, like in a cube, or showcasing the edge of the grid. It's already doing this was high risk. I knew it would make it harder for people to parse the world unless we did it very carefully and intentionally. Yeah, obviously the environment's huge. Well, it's the difference between me doing some artsy bullshit as a tech artist versus having like 3 or 4 artists for 4 months, right? Like that's huge. Oh, hey Bowler, what's up, man? Yeah. And I'm glad you liked the video, Baz. That was definitely a chunk of my time. I showed that at GDC before last, so it's not quite 2 years ago. I showed that, and I remember leading up to that, I was like writing a talk and making that video and doing some other stuff because I still had a full-time job, or I think I had dropped down to part-time at work back then, so I still had like a trailer I was making at work. I died. I've worked pretty hard on Kine. I think I've probably hit those hours again, but that was just like manic hours getting that trailer done. Do you treat environment as different to level design? I don't. That's difficult for me to answer because so at Irrational we had level builders, which was a person they didn't model the models, but they were a designer. The modelers would create models, and then the level builder would take those models and put them in the engine and also do the layout for the levels. So I'm trying to think of a time where we were ever a hybrid. Before that, I worked on Marvel Heroes, which was procedurally generated environments and obvious, like, kind of slapped together in like it wasn't grid-based randomization, but it was like room-based randomization. So that was obviously very, very tech art heavy. I've never worked on a game that I would call pure level design, really. Oh, hey, what's up? Is that Danielle Riendo? Were you here earlier? You want to see some more cool shit? I've been having a great time. What's up? Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, I let the environments get out of control, and I feel borderline bad about it. Not really. What have I not shown you yet? So, where is this? I still need to fix the UI for this, but we got all these levels in now, so now we've got the daily grind. Ooh, I don't want to show this. This isn't ready yet. Alright, hold on. We got... obviously, the stuff that's the most polished, because I've been showing it off at different places, is like all of the single levels. See, here's an area where you can't really judge that distance easily, right? I mean, you can if you try. This is an area we could have done better. opinion. Let's try looking for work. See if we can get a day job. These are levels inspired by Sokoban. This is when I think when I was designing this, it was the summer, and I had just found the puzzle Discord. I was like, I want to make a fucking Sokoban, and I realized, no, it don't. It doesn't really work well with these mechanics. But what I did find, because I mean, the whole point of the game is you are this character trying to get from A to B. So I was like, what could be fun about pushing boxes? And I kind of flipped it, like, what if you need the boxes? Like, you can't get there. Like here, if you get rid of this box, you can't win this level. Right here. You need to get that box there. I just don't like how these levels look either. Will players be able to create custom levels? Oh hell no. I don't have the time or ability to make a level editor for this. I thought, you know, in the very, very beginning, when I was trying to come up with like a business reason and I was pitching this at work, I was like, guys, we can totally do this for the molasses flood. It definitely makes sense. And one of the things I had was like this little cutscene. Anyway, one of the things I had back then is the long-term plan. I don't even think I pitched it because it wasn't really a good business decision. It was kind of just what I wanted to do and how I was going to try to justify it. Was like, what if we make a game but then we make DLC with other studios? Like, we could do a version of this game using the Double Fine IP, and we could just try to get like famous IPs, make a bunch of games with them, and then sell, after we've built up a robust tool set, sell that on the Epic Game Store. That was probably a bad idea. I ended up not doing that. I'm glad you think it's difficult, Danielle. Or, I'm glad you think it's cool. It's definitely fun. I would say, I'll challenge you on that though. I think for a smaller scoped game, definitely it's easier to do something that's procedural or RNG. Easier? There's certain things I think a small team can't tackle. Like, I don't think a solo dev or a very small team could do a multiplayer game, for instance. I just think you, obviously, like, you can't test a multiplayer game unless you have at least 2 people. I think, so any kind of shooter, any competitive game, which kind of like eliminates a lot of genres if you think about it. I think puzzle games actually lend themselves really well to solo devs because so much of, like, everything in kind had to kind of, the environments have to be tied, the design of the environments have to work with the design of the puzzles. Like, the characters had to be designed incredibly intentionally, right? Like, it's important that this character was designed such that he took up exactly 1 cube, and he had, because he's going to roll, he has to have something on the edge of each side of that cube, and it has to look like he can't, if he rolls onto a limb, it has to look like that limb can't hold him, right? Like, so it has to look right that he falls, even if his limb is, like, if his body falls off the world but the limb is there, but it also has to look like the edge of his limb is, like, it had to be a symbol because it had to be something that he could, like, push up off of. It had to look like a stand, right? Like, it, and the way the character was designed, like, this cube, right, you have to be able to feel the grid, right? So this, there has to be some sort of cut halfway through the limb, right? So you can see this is 1, 2, 3 things. Like, everything had to be done very intentionally because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see what the hell you were doing, right? And so in a way it helps to just be one person because you can just keep it all in your head. And I don't have to find a way to articulate that and then go back and forth and work on that, you know what I mean? Every single element needs to be perfect in some ways. I don't know. It starts small though. Like you just smart. It starts small and it just kind of builds. But yeah. Well, it's not. It's all of them have something like that, right? I had to be kind of careful about that. I mean, I didn't choose the instruments. I made the characters, and I kind of, well, I drew Rue. I loved the idea of a piano, and I knew the shape. Like I knew she was gonna have, you can go back because this is all on YouTube. I knew I wanted her to have this idea that there's 2 units back that become 1 unit on either side. I designed those puzzles, but she didn't look like this initially, right? And I didn't know what instrument I would have each of them be. It actually took some time to figure it out. And if you think about it, the best I could come up here is an accordion. Not really a jazz instrument. Like I was talking to Mitchell about it. And I'm like, can we have an accordion in jazz? I don't think we can we? And he was like, oh, we totally can. That's normal. I don't know why, but apparently it is. But even, I knew I wanted an accordion. I figured out that that shape would work. But even then, like, I had to invent some reason for there to be a cut halfway here, right? And I had to come up with like, I basically just kind of came up with a shape for the end of the limbs here. It's like kind of a hand, not really. It follows the rules I just described, and I reused that shape on Euler. And yeah, the same cuts are on Euler too, right? Like so, if you look at Euler's design, you can see there's always a cut of some sort, right? A very obvious cut. Halfway through the character, or halfway through the limb, so you can feel the grid. This is a little phoned in, I'm not gonna lie, on that one. I recently changed this. Before, if you moused over, it would automatically change to that limb. I found that frustrating. Now it's a double click and I'm not used to it yet, so I keep doing it wrong. What else? The shadows are very explicit. That one I figured out early. It was like I need to tell the player how they're gonna fall, and so the shadows aren't like, there are no actual shadows as far as like the engine is concerned. I have just kind of like this drawn thing, right? Like it just takes up a cube, and you can see here the shadow just extends to show you where you will be if you roll. So if you roll here, you'll fall there. It's not logical in any way, but it just sort of works. Alright, you guys have gone quiet. I've got to start thinking of what we're actually going to do today. I was going to download Knickknacks. It's logical. Yeah, you're the worst. See, not being fun, I want to show off. This was... I got worn down on this one. Before, you'd fall off the world. And I still hate this effect. But you'd fall off the world in, like... it was less than a second. It was like... 0.8 second falling animation would play. He'd like wiggle and then fall. And then come back up. It wasn't perfect. But... Mr. Hazelton convinced me that you're not allowed to take away control from the player for a full second. Fuck that guy. So anyway, now you just kind of like wiggle and go back. Not sure how I feel about it. Oh. All I mean is like, it's actually better this way. So like if you fall off the world, it's much faster. Then you go right back to playing. A second feels short, you think? Maybe. It does feel better. I think he was right. Let's make some shit. I gotta find the thing that we're downloading first. Oh, I forgot to show you. Okay, one thing I did get in, I haven't shown you guys yet, is I got a pass on... So I had initially made the heart section, gave that to the artist. I told them they weren't allowed to model anything, they had to just texture it. They tried to mutiny, we talked through it. They came up with a couple of really good ideas. And this is still temporary, I'm still working on this stuff. Like, this is happening too slowly. As you don't play like this, but as you play through the game, like it unravels and kind of becomes like a downward spiral sort of situation. So by the end you break up and it's like awful. But they did a texture pass on it. I think we need to go back and keep picking at it. I think the colors aren't quite there yet. But they're playing around with like adding cracks and stuff. So this is coming along slowly. Probably shouldn't show you this because it's still, in my opinion, very in progress. I did have them move the, this is one of those things, I had them move the cracks to be along the edges again. But I still think we need to do like a good color pass here. So they're fighting. It's all very sad. They were getting along so well before this. Pictures are getting madder. Oh, she's over here. Look at her. She's sad. Don't even look at each other, guys. This is all very emotional, alright? We have a lot of work to do in this area. See, this is where it breaks down. He yells, "You can't do that. You can't lose your temper." Too late, Euler. It's all very sad. Yeah, it's better shorter. There's already controller support. Binary states. I have gone through a million fucking things for Euler specifically. Pyro Tiger. And I'm still not convinced I had it. Like the first one I tried was, because initially when I first started making the game, I thought there'd be characters where I would play with limbs coming out of all 6 directions. And that was a shit show. Maybe I'll pursue that again later, but that didn't work out well. There, I have a controller here, so I'll show you. Like, it took a long time to figure out what I wanted to do for Euler's control scheme. Where are you? What I ended up with is right trigger, right and left trigger just to toggle, right? Now the problem is, it's not really a problem, but I also use that for toggling characters. I wanted it to be kind of universal, so you end up with, it's perfect for everything in the game until the very end. And then I think it's actually kind of cumbersome, because you're toggling between both characters, like, and Euler's 2 limbs, which means there's 4 things to toggle between. And I honestly just think it's a bit too much, but I don't have a better solution right now. Like I don't know what to say. With Euler, I tried having like right trigger be one limb and left trigger be the other limb, and that is shockingly awful. Like, you just don't think in that way. You don't think left trigger is the horn, right? I don't know how else to put it. And then I tried like one trigger is the, and on the mouse is like right and left click is like the, one is for the XY direct. I don't know, nothing, I'll never be happy with Euler's controls. But yeah, my frustration on the controller is simply that you're cycling through 4 things now, and I just feel like that's a few too many. You get used to it. I should get somebody new to play through this. The other thing is, anytime I get someone to play it, they usually play the early stuff. Wow, undo is fucked right now. We were not going to worry about that. That's one of the bugs that I told you I'm hiding from. I've got to stop hiding from those very, very soon. After we get content complete, there's going to be a reckoning. And I'm terrified I have to push my ship date, because some of these bugs are freaking me out. I haven't spoiled anything. I've never streamed the last third of the game. And that's when shit gets real weird. Different face button for each Lin. I said it came from Euclidean space, Pyro. That's exactly where it came from. Am I targeting any consoles? Yes. Don't know exactly which ones yet. I have all the consoles to choose from. And then now it just comes down to like resources and stuff. What else is there? Yeah. Here's my problem. My team is me, a musician, and 4 artists. And I need to work closely with artists because I'm the one that gets their stuff in game. I'm the person that gives them the stuff to do and then gives them feedback on their stuff, and then usually has to do a polish pass on their stuff. So I have to work closely with the artists, and I'm outnumbered by these people, and they all have needs from me, and those needs will always make the art and the music better. And there's nobody that's like, hey bitch, Undo's broken. So Undo, if it's broken, will remain broken, because I don't have players or anybody telling me to fix it for, where are we now? Apparently 5 months. And that's very bad. It's a side effect of my current team makeup, and I think it's if anything bites me in the ass, it's gonna be that. And I don't really, we'll just see where that goes. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being the project manager. Yeah, how do I put it? So there's all these things you do when you're at a studio, which is... Try to think of concrete examples, because it's easier for me to explain things with examples usually. So right before content lock, the things you'll do are not the things that are objective, that you're... Like, say you have a list of tasks and they go from like P0 to P4. As you approach content lock as a developer, if you're me, there's certain things that are P4s that matter to you, that you realize matter. You'll do those instead of the P0s, because after content lock, the critical shit, they're going to make you fix that. They're going to be like, all right, look, we locked content, but I need you to get this done. Whereas the stuff that matters to you but doesn't matter to the project, they'll never let you do that after content lock. So you kind of like front load the less important stuff there's a lot of kind of stuff like that you do. Um, I'm used to cheating in this way, uh, but I won't do that. I don't know. It's difficult to be the a creative person and the project manager at the same time. I don't know how else to put it. You can't be both. It's basically impossible. Yeah, everything's in Blueprint. There's no code yet. Trying to think. That almost wasn't true, but we fixed it. We were all about to have to. I had to call a friend because I was having issues getting the game to run on any consoles, and there was a. We basically had like a problem in the engine, but it turned out it was because early in the project I flipped a bool in the settings, and we discovered a bool exists. There's two different code paths that blueprints take to compile. So we're gonna make yes. Hello? Right on cards. Hey Sapphire. Oh, this is irritating, but I'll just change the port and maybe that'll stop happening because the mic was dropping last stream too, right? Yeah. You know, I don't have that much shit. I don't know why there's so many wires. I thought at one point, like, maybe I should clean this up and zip tie things together, but I'm always changing, like, and every time you, like, buy a new thing or whatever, you've got to go rewire crap. It's better to just leave it loose, even if it's a mess. All right, it's been an hour. Should we work? Should we not work? I was really productive this week. I could not work. It would be fine. Should I check Twitter? Just kidding. I want to make sure. It's my did I unplug my keyboard in this? Oh, that's cool. I unplugged my keyboard. I'll be right back. Well, now what? How the hell? You're not unplugged. It's not a big deal. Let's see. Wait, the backlight's on. It was on before, right? Oh, it types now. We won't question it. We won't question it. It's working and we're just not going to ask. All right. What? We have a million things to do. We should probably do like one of them. Knickknacks. Like I keep saying. Let's do that. I can do that and talk. We can hang out. Did I ever download the thing? I did. Okay. Let's open up Maya. You're not allowed to see the endgame cinematic. Did I change anything in this? Don't think I did. All right, we are going to import. Oh wait, also the reason I had to check, I got a message from Chris Light, who edits the podcast. Google was down earlier, so we've been having some issues. Getting each other files. Because apparently if G Drive goes down, everything stops. Fix one bug. No, we will not be fixing bugs. There's too many. They're too scary. There's not too many. They're just... Do you want to fix a bug? I can't promise you can do that. But you know what? No one in my life is encouraging me to fix bugs other than you, Tanishian. So, and that's what I should be doing. Like, in real life. Because I'm going to get the art done. I'm me. So yeah. Let's try one bug. It's a doozy though. The one that scares me the most is not the undo, because that's knowable. There is what Mitchell lovingly refers to as a soft lock. Alright. So here's... God, I suddenly... You know how, like, you have a hard thing to do and then you suddenly get really tired? Your brain is like, no, you shouldn't. Your knees hurt. What the hell does that have to do with this? Okay, so on the player controller, I have the ability to lock out... Well, I actually added two. The ability to ignore movement and suppress movement separately. Basically, like, say the camera is transitioning, or you're in the... If you hit D, or you hit move right, the character's in the process of moving right, you're gonna cue the next move right, but you're not gonna execute it yet. And if something's in the queue, you're not gonna, like, there's only one thing in the queue. this whole concept exists. There has to be an idea that says, hey, you can't move yet. I can't execute another move. I'm currently moving. And it locks you out from being able to move, right? Something is triggering that too many times. Randomly in the game, I have no repro. Just sometimes you can't move. Like sometimes the game just locks. You can still rotate the camera. You can still go back to the menus and do everything like normal. You just, you're just set to be unable to move. I don't know why. The way that I'm suppressing movement is not a bool. I actually learned this trick from Damian. The way I suppress movement is an int, because like you want to be able to daisy chain suppressing movements. Like say you can't move because like a pop-up just came up, and so you have to hit OK on the pop-up, and then after that there's a cutscene. You want to like basically increment the integer so there's no time where it goes false, true, false. You don't want to accidentally end up in a situation where like one thing turns off movement suppression right at the same time something else turns it on. You get a lot of bugs there. So rather than have it be a bool, you have it be an int. Anyway, movement ignored and movement suppressed. I actually don't know which one is the problem. I have no repro for this bug. I just know that if you play through the game's like a 5-hour game. Sometimes, like probably twice in a 5-hour play session, the game will lock. I've never gotten it to happen. The only time I can forcibly lock you out is something I do all the time. And I'm not even sure if this is even related, but if you pause the game while you're moving the camera, but this isn't like the real bug. This is just maybe probably another bug. But like if you're moving the camera and I pause the game and I unpause it, yeah, I can't move anymore, right? Movement does nothing. I know this one because I do this all the time when I don't know if that's the same thing or not. I mean, so what do we do here? I guess I could handle the one I know. I wish I had better, like, debug for this. The problem is, anytime you get into this state, even if I happen to be in Pi, the only thing I can look up is what the integer is. It hasn't happened recently. So, like, I could right now, for instance, I'm locked out now, so I could go into the player controller, and I can be like, hey, player controller. Camera's not suppressed, obviously. Where's movement suppression? Movement ignored is 1. Because you're rotating the camera. Which is a whole other conversation, by the way. Like, if I was less of a piece of shit. Here's another thing I should do. Oh, God. I should probably make it so you can move while you're rotating the camera. Not, like, all the time, but anytime you let go of the camera, it starts lerping back to a location. It would probably feel a lot better if you could move while that was happening. Because it's kind of shit that, like, right now, I can't move. See? I don't like that either. These are all things I don't want to do. But yeah, so player controller. So what do we want to tackle here? What of this? Yeah, a restart won't fix it, of course not. Because restart doesn't reset that bool. Or sorry, doesn't reset the int to 0. You got that one at GDC? A lot of people got it at GDC. After that, I was convinced it was a controller bug, but Mitchell can get it too, and he only plays mouse and keyboard. Emergency expiration after a timer. No. So different things we can do. We can try to tackle the pause one. Work on figuring out a repro. No, I think I've been thinking about this, and at one point I had an idea, which is like, what I need is to send a message, to store, what I need is a variable. What I need is, if I ever hit this bug, I want to be able to go into the player controller and figure out why movement is currently ignored. Like, I wish there was a variable. Like, I wish I could pass a string every time I ignore movement. I want to also pass a string that's stored in a variable. Sure. Pass a string that's stored in a variable. Or would it be enum? I need to give myself some way to debug this, basically. Like, every time I ignore movement. Alright, so maybe... So there's a list of reasons why I could possibly be ignoring movement. I'll make an enum of those. I'll pass an enum every time I ignore movement. How the hell am I storing this? Storing it on, like... I'll have an array of those enums. I'll add and remove from the array. I'm having a brain fart. Can you have, in an array, can you have multiple? Yes, of course. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm gonna ignore chat for a while and just do this. Let me read this real quick. Yeah. You got me, Bowler Captain? Let's do it. Okay. So let's look at all of the multitude of reasons why movement could be suppressed or ignored. Let's start there. And let's get us a good list. Christ. There's a lot of reasons. Just loads of shit could be going down. Okay. Let's start cataloging them. Okay. Maybe limb is extending. Or how about character extending, character rotating. Sorry. As soon as you type something in Unreal, you can never change the casing. It hardcodes it, which is beautiful because they want to make sure you don't fuck up the casing, but means like you gotta type it right the first time, which is really, really vexing. So like I can never make that C capital ever again. Which is that's fine. So here we go. Let's go in the pawn. Let's have a default, which is, I don't know, unspecified. Alright. So these are movement locked reasons. Let's say every time you ignore movement input. Oh, come on, don't be this way. Yeah, there you go. Suppress will have the same thing. Ignored and unsuppressed. I don't have anything checked out per force, do I? Oh yeah, that one bug I fixed. Let me just get that in. Movement locked reasons. That's a beautiful fucking name. This will be an array. Kills me, you got this bug at GDC and I still haven't fixed it. You realize that was in March and it's June, right? God, I'm a piece of shit. Sorry about this. I should have jumped on this earlier. Because I bet this will... If I had made this kind of system earlier, then I would have probably had way more data by now. Probably would be fixed. Suppress. So I'll add it. To the idea of like a pop. I'll remove item all instances. Oh no. No. What do you got? Like remove one? How would just find it. So find the first, right? Yeah. Find from end. Just I don't know, I feel like that's cleaner. Find last. No, not gonna. Yeah, fuck it, find it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Okay. Find remove by index. Okay. Add, remove. Okay. Okay. Is there a stream schedule? No, I am not a regular streamer. I stream once a week. Shit. I try to stream about once a week. Usually these days it's on Sunday, but that's changed. It used to be Monday. Sorry I didn't say goodbye to you, Pyra. And Faith John, I described what I was doing. I don't know if you're still around, but I'm aggressively fixing a bug. I have to focus on it because I have a very what do you call it? Bad at stuff. Must focus hard to do things. And I will lose track. I will lose my train of thought if I keep reading the Twitch chat. So just until I get this bug figured out, I'm going to ignore the chat. Okay. So yeah, we've got this going on. Let's go to let's find every instance ADHD. See, I said I'd ignore the chat, Tanishian. I'm gonna put something over the chat. I think it's called ADHD. I think it's just called, like, if I don't focus, I like being in the flow of things. Not that you can on Twitch ever, really, but I like to just focus on a thing until it's done. And the distractions kill me, because I feel like a lot of times you'll have a thing that you're doing and you're carefully considering it and you put all the information for it in your brain, kind of like a programmer, like a program loading variables, right? And then you get distracted, and then it's like, now the second you have to go in and try to solve whatever it is you're looking at again, you've got to like put all those variables back into your brain again, right? So those tiny 5-minute distractions kill you, because every time you get one of those, it ends up being like, you'd be like, okay, what was I doing? And was all the background knowledge to like figure that out? That's not a big deal for this or for different things. All right, fair faith. But it's a bigger deal for other stuff. This is fine. This will be fine. But yeah, okay, so fine. So this is when the pawn is initialized. That's another reason we could be locked out. I don't think it's what it is. Character emitting. The one it's going to be is most likely free cam. That'll be the reason. That'll be unspecified, but let's set these. Why are you not updating? Yeah. It's a common thing for programming. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, though. Like, sometimes you do that, you get an Etch-a-Sketch to your brain and you sit down. Like, the opposite of that is, like, you kind of get tunnel vision if you focus too hard on something for too long. Where you're like, you're either gilding the lily, like something's done, stop fucking with it, or there's a much simpler or different solution that's better and you just didn't see it because you were too busy implementing the thing you were doing. So sometimes it helps to kind of be a little scatterbrained. Depends. They have their moments. So we had a find at some point, right? That I've completely lost, which is find every place I am ignoring the movement input. Ah, there we go. Level 1. We'll leave that one unspecified. That's probably fine. Character knitting. Oopsies. That's right. Every time we set this, we have to also unset it. It's on the player 1. death. That's a good reason. Should add that one. Character death. What the hell is this? Sometimes the player controller is locked up because I think the pawn is deleted before this node executes. Yeah, that's from win, so that's fine. I don't think it's going to be switching from or to the pawn. Don't think it's any of this stuff. I think it might be this stuff. So this and I want to explicitly call it each one of these. So it could be free cam, it could be what do I want to call it? If you release the mouse and it's rotating back to cardinal direction, that's not free cam, that'll be like auto cam. Auto turning cam. Fuck it, why not? Okay. Turning cam. Sure. Where are you? So that's where you're ignored. And here's where you're unignored. All right. This is free cam. Where's my controller? So that's free cam with a mouse. This is shared free cam. This is controller. Free cam ended. Alright, so this is if your controller free cam. Okay, so I've got a start, and this is where it'll end in either path. Yes, okay. Alright, so that's the camera stuff. It's gonna be in here. I'm calling it. Don't need that. It's interesting. That could be a reason, I guess. It's plausible. Undoing. So... redoing? That's unlikely. Whatever. Let's add it. Redo. Yeah, it's probably not this. Okay, there's still narrative stuff. So if there's some big systemic thing, I think that'll help it. Okay, so we got that. So what do we need now? Now I like have this variable. I'm popping and adding things to it and removing it. It would be nice because other people play the game and they send me a screenshot like, I'm locked. It'd be nice if something printed to this screen every time you tried to move that said why you can't. At least in a debug build. Because then those screenshots will be useful. So, how do I do that? If you try to move, input occurred. Where am I checking if you're allowed to move? Oh, here. Okay. All right. So yeah. So here's where you get locked. Let's make a function that is debug movement locked reasons. Or how about print movement locked reasons? What this will do is for each reason that you are locked, print that shit to the screen for like, I don't know, it's a crazy amount of time, like half a second. Because the truth is, if you're locked out, you can just keep hitting that button, that's fine. Bam. Now I just have to call this every time you are locked. No, sorry. This isn't looking as pretty as I'd like. Okay. Sure. And let's also just, while we're at it, we'll add that to the moving. Like all the basic stuff, the moving and the shifting your limb. So like, where are you? Appendage activation. Is movement suppressed? Where are you? Ignore next button release. There it is. Movement suppressed. Interesting. I wonder why that's. What the hell is that disconnected? Well, that's weird. Anyway. Let's just live somewhere else. All right, let's test this. Are you editing the podcast? What's up, Chris? You can, prints don't show up in like a proper build. I forget the name for it. There's different builds. It's late. How late is it? My brain's starting to go. Right on schedule. It's 10:15. Brain done. But yeah, like on a release build, is that the one? There's a debug and a release, right? Yeah, if you set it to release, print strings don't show up anymore. Cool. So we should be able to get that to go by just simply spamming this. Unspecified. That's a little bullshit. Should be. Oh no, it's not. We never specified that. Haha. Okay, let me fix that. So on the player pawn, surely when you activate a limb, we suppress movement, right? Suppress. Do it all over the damn place. But like, yeah, here's where we do it for rotate. So character rotating. And then at the end of rotation, remove that. Okay, so that's rotate. And then extend, I can find this one really quickly. After you're done extending, unsuppress movement. And now at the beginning of extending, where are you? Where do I do that? So maybe dig for, I'm gonna have to dig for it. Oh, I think I already found it. Okay, good. Yep, okay. No, extending, okay. And then just for giggles, is there sliding? No, this happens without sliding. It's gonna be in the camera. Chris, have you not seen this in a while? Dude, I've been working, man. You have it on Steam, right? Are you saying you don't nightly check in on the build and see where it is, Chris? This isn't your entire life? You know, it's weird, actually. It's stupid. I know logically, like, most people don't follow me on Twitch or, like, see the game. But for some reason, I do go into most conversations assuming people roughly know where I am with the game if they're, like, friends with me in real life. Yeah, I actually talked to my Steam rep about that. I was like, would you be offended if I do this? And they're like, hell no. Steam's pretty cool at the end of the day. They do some cool shit. Like, it is cool that they let you, like, you can put a build on there, update it constantly, give press keys for the Steam build. You could, if you have, like, when we had a Kickstarter, we ran the Kickstarter and Steam gave us a bunch of keys to give away as part of that. And those, when you give those keys to your, like, backers and stuff, any reviews they leave don't count towards your score. So that part sucks, but other than that, it's fine. Like, you can, they actually let you give away free keys at different things. They're incentivized to do that because they want, think of it from Valve's perspective, right? Like, if somebody, how do I put it? Us giving keys to our Kickstarter backers brought more people to Steam that didn't have Steam before. I know for a fact it did because we had to, like, write a bunch of fucking tutorials on how to install Steam. So Valve is incentivized to let you give away keys in certain situations on other platforms, specifically Kickstarter and Humble, because those reach an audience that Valve hasn't captured yet. And giving somebody a Steam key means they're going to install Steam in order to play your game, because they have a free game, they're going to do it, right? It's the same reason why Epic immediately jumped on, you will soon be able to sell Epic keys through the Humble store and stuff, because Humble actually is kind of pretty good at pushing storefronts. Yeah. Alright, so there it is. So if you know how, like, there's a queued thing? Even though it's queued, it's telling you you haven't moved yet because reason, character rotating. So we now know. So now, if Mitchell or any of my artists get stuck, they can send me a screenshot and I can know something. That's the difference. This is not fixing a bug. It's helping me catch a bug. I should tell people about this change. Why are you doing this to me? So you've decided that every level is dirty, huh? As well as that random shit? Okay, yeah, that's cute. No. We're gonna close and reopen the editor. Because this editor needs to think about what it just did. It knows. It's in the corner. It's on timeout. She rolling. Alright, now what? That was good. We still have options for things we can do right now. We could try to fix that other bug I talked about. The one with, if you hit pause. Do I even care? Like, in seriousness, who's gonna hit pause? Does that even happen in, like, a normal build? Let's play the game on Steam. We don't have to go to Steam. Let's play it off my desktop. Let's play Kine properly. Where are we? June. Oh, I haven't have a June build yet. I made a mistake about 2 weeks ago, and I updated the game on Steam, or the Steam build. Basically, I had to push a build to Steam so Mitchell could hear his new music, and I did it with the May 2018 build. And then I left to go for a walk, so I was gone for 2 hours, and Mitchell starts freaking out. He's like, "Gwen, everything's all fucked up. I need to show this to you." Oh god, I can't. Oh god. It's absolute full I've lost my taskbar. What is going on? Oh, there we go. I'm sorry, I can't show you. It's opening on my other monitor. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway. Interesting. I can't get out of this. Well, of course not. Because I see. So my settings have it full screen and at max resolution. And so when I hit F11, it's full screen windowed and I still can't move it. Isn't there a way to deal with that? No? Well, I'm looking at an old ass version of the game. Y'all can just go on YouTube, because I was streaming back then. Alt tabbing. Yeah. Right click taskbar and then move. Let's try that. I don't know, we're on this tangent now. Don't let me forget what we're actually doing. This is the problem I have. I told you, I get distracted. Oh, I can't get to the taskbar, that's the other thing. So if I shift tab, surely I can get to my taskbar, yes. If I click this, ooh, there's no right click and move. That's gone from the taskbar now. Fascinating. Oh wait, I've opened it twice. The hell have I done? We're giving up on this. This was a tangent that has gone on too long. Oh god, and I've opened the game twice. Okay. Let's go open the actual game, because a year has passed and you can now exit full screen. Hello? That's cute, my monitor rebooted. I now have an options screen. Hurt. Hey, I wonder, so if I take my resolution, I set way low, right? It's so tiny. And then I take it and I go back to a build from a year ago. Will it be tiny? No. No, it will not. gotta stop. This is so unimportant. Everything is breaking. What else? My life. Alright. It's so little. Alright, options. Let's go to 4K, full screen. Oh, good. What the? The hell? You wanna try that again, buddy? Oh, okay. It's cute. Let's turn full screen on. Yeah. So why didn't you like that a minute ago? Well, we'll figure that out later. What was I looking at? I was trying to... Alright, let's see if we can repro this in what I think is a... No, this is a debug build, but still. Standalone debug build. Got a more fun level. Alright, so if I'm like doing something like this and I alt tab, say the camera's moving and I alt tab, I go back. Am I locked out? No. How about if I'm pause? Oops, sorry. Is there no pause? Huh. Yeah, because why would there be? Okay. So maybe this is just not a bug. Because I don't have the concept of a pause in kind. That's just happening in editor. Okay, so yeah, so that's not... We don't have to fix that bug. It's not in the game. Look how pretty the game looks in 4K. Alright, so yeah, so that bug's not a bug. We're good. I know. I'm still excited. I just got a 4K monitor. It's like 2 months ago. It's still fresh enough that I'm like, shiny. It did melt my video card though and cost me never-ending amounts of pain. So there was that. But it is still very crisp. I do like it. It's like a Kindle, but for everything. Yes. It is definitely overkill. The problem is I need to be working in 4K because people will play the game on big TVs. You have to blow everything up to 2K to make it useful. Well, I told you we don't have textures in kind, right? So it's not really an issue for us. This is actually for me to isolate the handful of places we do have textures because I keep forgetting and they look hella blurry. On the UI, yeah, that's true. Developing in 4K. Oh yeah. Alright, so the bug where we added a debug so that if anybody hits that soft lock, I can at least get some useful information. We figured out that the bug where you soft lock if you hit pause doesn't matter because you can't pause the game. That's just a feature in the Unreal Editor, so we're fine. What else have we done? I don't think we can do anything else for the big scary bug, which is the soft lock intermittent issue. There's also the undo bug. I'm not going to start on that at 10:30 at night. That would be a stupid idea. I feel like I've done my, I don't know, the right thing. I think I've done enough. I've eaten my vegetables. Let's have some ice cream. Let's work on those little knickknacks. Let's see what my artist gave me. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so these are all the little... They're giving me a lot of these though, right? Like I recognize... Okay, so I've already done these. Sorry. These. Is it 11? Yeah, we're getting there. Right on cue. These I've done. I want to see what they got here. Sorry, you have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to fix up the material so I can see what the hell's going on. Because they're pointing to, like, Andy's C drive right now, rather than using relative paths. Just fine. Outsource artists. There's going to be some built-in inefficiencies. It only takes a second. So one of the core tenets of the art style is, as much as possible, to have as many angles and edges as possible and avoid rounded shapes. One of the things I hate and that I always push back on is there's times in the game... Something I did like that I wanted to keep is the idea of all the lines are drawn. And a thing I dislike is every now and then, out of necessity, will cheat. And they will do that trick where they take a mesh and they expand it and they invert the normals. And it creates like a black outline. And I can show you the difference. Like... It creates a very generic black outline. It'd be fine if you like rough it up a bit, make it look like it's drawn, make it edgier. We could do things with that outline which are interesting, especially because we're wasting the polys crafting it, right? Places like here. See the difference here? On that outline? That's because that's just an extruded edge. There's no reason for that. Like, this could have just been drawn lines, like you see here, which you did do in certain places. But I vastly prefer it, whenever possible, to just have lines. Also, it's part of the art style that they can kind of overhang in places and things, right? Like, that's kind of the point. And I've told, like, a million times, I always push back. And always get loads of it. They avoided it, to be fair, but still right here. Like, did we need to... There were so many different ways we could have made a joystick. It didn't need to be this rounded shape. Could have easily been a more angular shape. I know I'm griping. It's the same thing like I've said a million times, no bevels. This is the thing. We're getting to the end of the project. I'm like, God damn it. I'm getting fussy. They do an awesome job. I'm just gonna bring it up again. In any case, let's get to a place where I can see this a bit better. That's true. Yeah, the inverted hull trick. Yeah. I mean, I'm paying, but it's a collaboration. Like, it should never be... Like, when I was working as an artist at Irrational, technically I was being paid. But you can't think of it like that. You gotta think of it like... When you're directing the artist, you don't think of it as like, I'm paying you, you're a contractor. You think of it as like, I'm your art director. I'm giving you art direction. We're both being... In your head, just pretend like we're both being paid by Irrational. In my head, I'm just like, we're both being paid by Epic as far as I'm concerned. We're both being paid, like I'm an employee of Chump Squad, just like you. Here's what we need to do, and we're going to work together and get it done, you know? You can't... The second you start getting into that mindset where you're like, I'm paying you, like, you lose the... They need to be able to say no to me. Like, we need to be able to, you know, riff off of each other's designs and stuff. I mean, they can't say no to me, I'm the art director, but, you know, like, we need to be able to challenge each other. And as soon as you bring money into it, it just ruins. Like, as soon as you start thinking like that or talking like that, it bends the relationship into something that's not going to get you the best result. So even though that's kind of technically true, it's just not how you can think about it or act. Does that make sense? It's true, I hired them. No, yeah, I get it. I want to... Like, they like working with me, and when it comes time to do kind 2, I want to know that they want to work with me and that we're going to work together and we're going to make art together, and I want us to be able to challenge each other. Do you understand? And just because you hire somebody, how do I put it? I think it is really easy to fall into the trap when you're working with outsourcers of being like, you are not a brain, you are the hands. Deliver to me the thing. Do exactly what I say. I'm only hiring you because I don't have enough time to do it myself. And if you do that, the best work you can possibly get is something that you would do yourself, right? But they're artists. Even a junior artist is a different person, like with a different brain and the ability to bring something else to the table. And you have to be in a mindset that they can bring, here's what I want. If you want to surprise me, go for it. We don't have a lot of time, though. Like, we are going to run out of money. We need to get this done. But here's what I want. And if you don't like something, you have to be... It's not enough to be like, I don't like this. You have to be like, here's why I don't like it. Can you see how this is better than this? I took what you did and I painted over it, and I think it would look better if it was like this. What do you think? And it's got to be kind of more of a collaboration. Yeah. Well, there's going to be at least 3 kinds. If I have my fucking say. Do I have a design doc, or have I just kept pushing back on the design decision? Oh, they have no say over design. Like the puzzles and shit. Because I made the game first, and then... Which is, I think, what I wanted... Like, if I have my way... It kind of works out beautifully, because I'm going to have no money for a while. Because of the way the deal with Epic is structured, it's basically like... I don't know what I'm allowed to say here. It's an advance on sales. So, like, they have to get their money back, right? So, like, I'm not going to see revenue for a while, which is fine. I have enough money to live off of for a while. And I've got money in the bank. But basically, it's going to be me alone working on a game again for a while, which is perfect. It's actually what I want. Like, I'll have some space to figure out exactly what I want to do next, noodle the design, come up, like, get to a certain place. I think I'll probably bring artists in earlier if I do a sequel. I think I know what I want to do for the sequel. Like, I've got ideas. Not exactly. But, like, I'm pretty I kind of I love the idea of, no offense, just, like, dumping the team and going off into, like, my basement or my hole and, like, figuring out the game for a year and then coming back and doing it again. Maybe not a year, but, like, a while. I prefer to do it this way. And I think that kind of mirrors what happens in real studios anyway, right? Like you go down to a small number of people. In this case, it'll be one. In a real studio, in reality, you got like your leads making the game initially, and then you have to bloat the team just because you need a shit ton of assets, and then you shrink the team back down again. It's the same thing. It's just on a much smaller scale. It's going from one person to 5 people back down to 1 person, whereas this is like at a AAA studio, it'd be like 12 people to 200 people to 12 people. I don't know what else to say. Hey, stay thirsty, what's up? Anyway, no, nobody pushes back on design. That's not their role. I find it very hard to encourage collaboration in teams I manage because they can't get past the hierarchy thing. Can you elaborate on that, Sir Nick? I'd love to know, like, where do you work? Is your team in-house or remote? Because that totally changes the flavor, right? They can't get past the hierarchy thing. Is it like hierarchy with you? Is it a flat structure underneath you? Or is it like they have a hierarchy as well? They have the money to hemorrhage Nishan. I have a lot of theories about Epic. And so far, they've all been right. Because I'm pretty... I don't know. I just believe people when they say shit. And from the beginning... I think there was a podcast I did. I swear to God, like a year ago. Where I was like, Epic is going after Steam. They're going to make a storefront and go after Steam. And a lot of people gave me... I said that because they hired Sergey. I said it repeatedly. And nobody believed me. Right up until like Klifsky was in Boston hanging out with us in 1 month before the Steam store launch, or the Epic store launched, and I'm like, I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna do this. He's like, I have it on good authority. That's not a thing that's happening. They're fighting a fucking editor war. They don't care about storefronts, and then bam, they launch their storefront. So I'm just saying, my conspiracy theories are right, and I'm telling you, next they're going for Autodesk. They're gonna lock down the dev pipe. I mean, they've always kind of wanted to do this. They want to lock it down from the minute you make a polygon until the minute you ship. Like, imagine how much money, like, I can tell you, I spend over $1,000 on Autodesk software, right? Epic's been investing for years in enterprise software stuff, film. They're going after pathfinding. They're going after Autodesk's launch, and I bet they try to lock it down end to end. It just makes the most sense. You wouldn't use it to make a mesh. No, they're going to start with animation. That's why you see all the rigging tech in there now. And you see people making... They're starting with rendering, actually, to be honest. They've been going after Autodesk's, like, people who are rendering cars for, what do you call it, like marketing reasons and things like that. They've been beefing up their rendering engine a lot. Hire a team to fix after release as you work on Kind 2 yourself. To fix? There should be no... There'll be nothing to fix. Kind will be perfect. Sorry, I teach software engineering and run semester-long group projects. I try and give groups a ton of autonomy, but every meeting they have with me, they go with anything I say, rather than giving any pushback, despite me encouraging the opposite. So you would never bring up grades when debating a design decision. Yeah. Yeah, that's different though, because you're like... Maybe it's not. I mean, I guess in a way an art director is a mentor. In a way they give you performance reviews. I mean, I guess it's similar. Like, I never would have thought of my teachers in the same way I thought of, like, Sean Robertson, my art director at Irrational. Like, I don't think I would ever think of it like that. Because with your... when you're in school, you're there to learn. Whereas, like... I always felt like I could go to any artist on my team or the art director and just be like, now we should do it like this. And like we would talk about it, or I could show them something, or like it was just a different, those relationships have a different texture. I think there's just something different when you're in a school setting. But I can see the parallels for sure. You would love it if students would do that. Yeah, students, I imagine you're having a problem with them just being disengaged in general, right? And probably wanting to draw shit tons of anime. That's a universal thing. uh, it's like, all right, I get it, you like anime, but you gotta do some life drawing. Like, you gotta get your fundamentals. You can't break the rules until you know what the rules are. I swear to God, if you don't do your fucking life drawing. That's a wild conspiracy theory. It is. I know. I'm stepping it up a notch. But I was right about the storefront thing. So it's possible. And they have been, they already sniped a couple of deals from Autodesk. Like they sniped the Uber one, which is crazy. So I never thought about self-driving cars as needing a game engine before. And then it was brought up to me and it seems so obvious in hindsight, right? Like what do you need for a self-driving car? You need really good pathfinding, right? You basically is what it is. It's like you just need really good pathfinding. You need collision detection. Like you need everything you need in a video game. Of course, the Unreal Engine is being used for self-driving cars. Why the fuck didn't I think of that? That's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely been a push lately to get Unreal into like enterprise software and other things, and I find that interesting. Blender can't handle real time. They're super engaged with this class. They try to structure it as close to the industry as possible. They really crave the opportunity to be in charge of their own project and not have a set assignment. Hell yeah, man. I know at RIT we basically had like you came up with your own project for your last year kind of thing. They do want to do a bunch of anime stuff, yeah. Well, I'm not sure if that's as ridiculous anymore. It was ridiculous when I was in college, but that was, Jesus, a very long time ago. Now it's actually pretty, very mainstream. I think it just comes down to, I don't care what your style is. Like, you could be into cartoons. You're not allowed to have a style when you're that new. You have, if you've decided your style is anime and you're in college, you haven't, like, you're too young to have a style. You haven't experimented enough yet. It's ridiculous to be locked down into something that early. It's cringy at times when they dress up and have it on their presentations. Mm. Yeah. It's hard, right? Because on the one hand, they should do what you tell them to do, because people in like in our age, I'm assuming you're close in age to me, and position are usually also in the hiring, making the hiring decisions at companies, so they should do what you do. But on the other hand, their art probably resonates more with their generation than we realize. So if they do go into business for themselves, maybe it's not the worst thing. And we are in an age where everybody's working for themselves, right? In a way, there's so much more freelance than there used to be. Still, no. Fucking no anime shit. Make a rule. There's nothing wrong with Tom and Jerry. There's something wrong if you're like 20 and you've decided the only thing you're going to draw for the rest of your life is Tom and Jerry. Maybe we're scared of getting old and irrelevant. We're already old and irrelevant. There's no fear. I'm not sure what you're referencing right now, Sariknik. I was looking at knickknacks. Oh. Yeah, why? Okay. All right. I'm not gonna complain about the joysticks. We're at a place where we just gotta fucking finish this. For various reasons, I need to roll. I'm running out of money for the artists. This is it. I gotta roll them off. I've got like a budget for the game and I've got a budget for the marketing, so they'll stay on, but when I get back from vacation, but I'll be bringing them in for very specific marketing tasks. I'm not allowed to spend more money on the game after June. It's already ludicrous. Spent like... Well, I mean, I didn't have to pay any programmers or designers. I spent my entire budget on art. So... That's not true. I did spend quite a bit of money porting the game. And audio. But yeah, I spent a lot of money on art. I gotta stop. Yeah, I did have audio. I forgot about that because that was the budget for that came from a different pool. That I hired Mitchell first, on contract using the Unreal Dev grant that I got like at the beginning of the project a couple of years back. You get tired of people telling them exactly what to do. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I don't know where I'd even begin. I mean, I guess there's no pro bono. I don't do that. Stay thirsty. It's unethical. I guess if I was a teacher, the first thing I would do is just ask a lot of questions. I'd be like, so what are you trying to achieve? Okay. So what's the quickest way you could get there? And test out that theory. Or like I'd ask a lot of probing questions and then make them come up with a solution. I guess that's probably the only thing I could do. But I am not a teacher. I've mentored interns before. Don't know if I did a great job of it at the time. Yeah, it's hard to do that and not be... No matter what, you can't be patronizing, right? Do it for exposure. Nah, man. Yeah, that makes it ethical. If it's for exposure, we're cool. Trying to remember where I saw this. One of the most interesting things I saw was at a rational. I don't remember who did it. It was one of the senior engineers who's mentoring a junior engineer. And I don't really have a problem of lack of confidence. So, like a lot of the things, imposter syndrome and lack of confidence and stuff, those weren't where my problems were when I was a junior. So it's difficult for me to relate. But basically, the issue here was this junior programmer was not... it was like a lack of confidence problem. And what the mentor basically told him was like, lie. Don't, like, straight up, he was like, you know what you need to do? You need to lie. When somebody asks you how long it's going to take a thing, sit down first and can you come up with a way that might work? Yes? Can you come up with 2 ways? Like, do you have a backup plan if that first thing doesn't work? How long will it take to do those 2 things? And then just say yes, and it will take that number of time. Rather than say you're not sure. Say, yes, I can do it, and then give them the estimate that is the first thing that came to your mind and the second thing that came to your mind. And he just kind of like broke down a list of things like this. And he said, rather than treating it as like being confident that one of your plans will do, he was like, lie and do it by this much. It was pretty funny because it actually worked. Exposures against the terms of service on Twitch. Should I check Twitter? The answer to that question is no. Chris Slight, are you still there? I usually like to listen to our podcast before it goes live, but I don't think I will get to tonight. Okay, I made a joke about euthanasia. And you shouldn't joke about that. That's what we've learned today. You know what? I'm going to stop making jokes ever. What am I going to do with these knickknacks? Apparently I'm going to pull them up on my screen and then I'm going to talk about other shit. Planner, that's kind of my plan right now. Yeah, I'm not funny. Why do I try to be? I'm not funny. What the hell's wrong with you? Alright. File. I want to be. So let's save this. I'm not gonna lie, nothing's gonna happen with these knickknacks. I'm very tired. We've hit sleep o'clock for Gwen. I'm gonna save this and then probably gonna hang out for 10 more minutes. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and go to sleep. But first I'm going to save this. Scroll. Join the improv asylum. I've never gone to that. Is it good? Your reviews come out tomorrow morning. I'm expecting you to pay the bills for your jokes as well. Pay the toll. Sorry. It's alright. Yeah. It's been a while since I've been to a comedy show. I used to go to them like, because there's all the stand-up comedians come through Boston. That's the one thing I think Boston's got on lock. Like we got a lot of comedians for some reason are from here. How did the game dev go today? It was actually a really productive day and week. I'm actually kind of blown away. If every week was like this. I don't know. That would just be a very good thing. I aspire to have more weeks like this. Well, as far as work goes, didn't go to the gym this week. That part's bad. I think I got a lot done this week because everybody else was on vacation. For the most part. There was like a bank holiday on Monday. And there was only one artist in the office the other 4 days, so. There's an improv group in Davis Square. Yeah, improv isn't my favorite thing. I prefer stand-up. Like, if I'm gonna go to it. If I'm gonna do improv, how do I put this? I'm not gonna do improv. Because that's not a hobby. I mean, I respect it. Comedy's interesting because if you there's a couple different ways comedy can go, right? Like if you try to be funny and you fail, you will usually end up either looking stupid or cruel. And in my case, I often end up looking cruel and then I feel real bad. And I don't want to feel bad. And improv is a lot of failing. Like, because you're basically failing quickly. You're being funny, seeing if it sticks, right? And yeah. Yeah, I'm scared. You got me. Improv by yourself in an empty room. I mean, that's what you do when you're writing comedy, right? My GDC talks, I try to be a little bit funny. And that's hard. But like I'm proud of it. It's like a consistent thing. I'm like once a year I'm going to make a 5-minute skit that's like a little bit funny in a weird way. That's where I flex that muscle. And that's fun because it's something that I can sit down and I can do and I can record it and then a couple days later I can watch it and I can be like, was that funny? And I can iterate on it. And I'll tell you, the first version of those are like I'll show them to somebody and they'll be like, you are a bitch. And then I rewrite it. Like I fuck that up consistently. Like my first draft of any one of those GDC talks is really, really mean. Because if sarcasm doesn't land, it's just being real mean, right? Just make a PowerPoint presentation with porn in it and call it humor. That is, I suppose, a way. Gwen's gonna be a famous comedian. No. No, I am not. I have a great example of this that I probably shouldn't tell you, but there I will. I'll tell you, like, there's a like I respect a lot of different things from different people, and one of my like favorite things about Tim Schafer is how funny he is, and how witty he is, and how he surrounds himself with funny, witty people, and when he's on stage and he's funny, I think he's good at that, and I wish I could do something like that. And so in that way, I've always kind of respected Tim Schafer for his ability to do that. And I worked for him for a bit, right, on Double Fun. So we have emails and shit. So like at trying to remember which talk it was. It was the one before last. I wrote that talk, and there was a bit at the end that was supposed to be like. Initially, it was kind of the whole, like the meta of the talk. I'm trying to remember how this went. The idea behind it, I was trying to be sarcastic. I was trying to be like, look at these games. They're obviously failures because they didn't, make money or get good reviews and stuff. And I don't remember why. Like, I was trying to be funny in this way of saying, look at these failures. These people followed their dreams. What a bunch of jerks, kind of thing. Like, and one of the games I put in that PowerPoint was what do you call it? Brutal Legends, and so this was my first draft of that PowerPoint, right? And this was also, while I was writing this, I was also making the first trailer for Kine and working on a trailer at work and just generally not sleeping. So I was kind of like in a fucked up state of being leading up into that GDC. And I don't know why, but I emailed my first draft. I was convinced this was hilarious and that I had nailed it. And so at 3 a.m., as you do, I emailed a recorded draft of that to Tim Schafer. And what I got back was a very long email that was very respectful and explaining that the fact that it was sarcasm did not land at all. Where he was like, Gwen, I know you might think that Brutal Legends was a failure, but it was not. And he like a very heartfelt long email about all the reasons why Brutal Legends was good for them in their studio. And I felt like shit. And I rewrote the talk, and I scrapped the whole thing, and I completely rewrote it, and I emailed him to apologize, and I outlined what I was going for, and I went through all this, and he was cool about it, and in that moment, I realized I was going to avoid Tim Schafer for the rest of my life, and I have. I haven't seen him since. I'm not even kidding. And that was like a year and a half ago. I'm still not over it. This is why I don't do improv. I'm not good out of the gate. It takes work. Humor is a resonance between you and the audience by leading them down a path and then taking them in a dark alleyway and tickling them with opinions. That's very poetic, Plenard. Dia wasn't in it. wait, I missed the line here. I did mock a game. I didn't mean to mock a game. It was the embarrassing Tim Schafer moment. Yeah, Chris. You did the same thing, but not Tim Schafer. Yeah. That's fine. What you gonna do? You think about it sometimes in the middle of the night. You know, the moments where you're like brilliant aren't never the ones you think about, right? Like you don't lay awake being like, oh man, remember that one time I crushed it? It's always that one. What happens is it's like you'll wake up at 2 a.m. and you'll be unable to sleep and you'll be thinking of like that one time you fucked up in middle school, right? Like those are the ones for some reason that eat at you. That's why, or maybe it's just me because I'm risk averse or something. Like I don't know, my brain's just wired where I just remember all the times I fucked it all up. Like this was just, I literally just had a moment where I started thinking through every time in my life I've fucked up, and for some reason that's really easy for me to recall. I hope that's everybody. You're right, stay thirsty. That might just be me. Fuck. Damn it. You can't just say game sucks, you gotta bring heavy metal references. Well, yeah. It was fitting within the arc of what that talk was supposed to be, was initially it was pointing out that we define failure as in terms of like being financial failure or failure on Metacritic. But if we do that, we'll never experiment and make cool shit. And that was like kind of what I was going for, and it was supposed to be sarcastic. Like bringing up Brutal Legends and all these other games, No Man's Sky and stuff. It was supposed to be like, because you have to take big risks in order to achieve something cool, and yeah, that doesn't pan out, but at least you took the risk. You know, that, I don't know, it didn't work. It was shit. It doesn't matter. No one will ever know about it or see it. I saw it to the earth. That talk is gone. Oh god, that's right. I had to completely rewrite the talk this last year too for different reasons. God, I keep getting fucked with my GDC talk. So the last year one, I had a joke about Rami in it. Cause like, Rami and I are like on the board of game, like I'm helping him with Game Dev World. It's a long story, but like I kind of like I met Rami. I'm like, cool. Like we've hung out 2 or 3 times. So like we're acquaintances. So like I had a joke about Rami. I'm trying to think. Oh god, because if I say this, you're gonna think I'm a terrible racist person. I'm not. It fit within the arc of the of the talk. Oh, I remember now. It was like how to be the perfect indie developer, and one of the things was like a surefire plan is to just say a bunch of outlandish shit on Twitter, and then I had oh god, I remember. I can't deliver this now because I don't have it practiced, but the whole thing was gonna be like, haven't you ever noticed that Rami gets stopped at airports a lot? Do you ever wonder why? Do you ever think that maybe deep down, Rami is secretly a Nazi? Think about it. Maybe that's what this is about. Maybe he walks the earth spreading white nationalist ideals. And I was just going to go into that for like 2 slides. And like, it was this absurdist talk. I was going to kind of go there. And then they had the fucking bombing in New Zealand. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to rewrite this whole fucking thing. And I scrapped the whole talk. No, it was a joke. Rami was in on it. Like, we talked about it ahead of time. He thought it was funny, but then I didn't do it because it wasn't funny anymore, like at all. Like, airport jokes were not funny. In the context of the bombing that happened, like, literally days before GDC. It probably wouldn't have been funny either way. It was probably a bad idea. I was probably going to rewrite it either way. This will sound racist. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not funny. That's the problem. Abort. Oh shit, sorry. No, we'll cut this part of this. How to deliver a sarcastic joke. Why can't I hear it? Dude, I can't hear anything that's said here. Do I not have audio? Do you have audio? Just not here. Yeah. I'll clip the end of this video. I won't put it on YouTube. I swear with the right setup it wasn't that bad, but you shouldn't even skirt around that kind of stuff. And the goal was to like highlight how fucked up it is to get stopped at airports. But again, like, you gotta deliver that right. And I'm just not that good at comedy. The goal should be ending racism. Well, yes. Hey, I can't get that video to play, man. I don't know what the deal is. Is YouTube busted? That'd be great. If like simultaneously in the same, do you have audio when you listen to that? Do I have any audio? Let's listen to some jams. Oh no, it's me. I have no audio right now. Huh. Well, I'll listen to that tomorrow. It's Tim Schafer talking about game devs unionizing and then they turn off the lights. I remember that moment. Yeah. Dude, he owns a stage. I'll give it to him. Alright, I'm past logic. It's past my bedtime, guys. I go to sleep at 11. I wake up at 6. I'm an old lady. Chris, did you set the podcast to go live tomorrow? Is he gone already? Oh. Alright. I don't have time to listen to it before we put it out. So could you write the description this time? Because you actually know what it's about and I don't remember. Don't go being racist on Twitter. Yeah. I'll attempt not to, Leonard. Do my best. Thanks, Chris. Is there anything else I need to do tonight? See, the problem is, like, I've got to get all my ducks in a row Sunday night because they actually get a lot done Monday morning. Even though I get up at 6, they get up early too, and they're in the UK, so they got 5 hours on me. I think they got everything they need. I'm glad you swung by, man. Good night, guys. Good night, Chris. Where am I? Peace.